Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. So in this video I'd like to take a look at this disc sander, this small disc sander, nice and lightweight and portable, made by Parkside. I bought this about a year ago from Lidl supermarket here in the UK, but I've not had a chance to use it yet, so now I'm going to give it a test. So here we have the Parkside Disc Sander PTSG 140 C2. I bought this about a year ago now from Lidl supermarket here in the UK, and I've not yet opened it. It's been sat on my shelf in my workshop and I haven't got round to using it, so now I'm going to open it and have a look at it. So it has a 2-meter cable and it's 140 watts, so that appealed to me. Most disc sanders are higher in power. This is a small one, compact, and it's quite low wattage. Ideal for a small workshop or portable workbench, things like that. And it says here that it's ideal for clean edges, curves or miter joints in all angles. Great. We'll just turn the box around and you can see that it takes 125mm pads, which are Velcro, 3600 max RPM, and it's got a 3-year warranty. So you get the instruction manual, and then you get the clamp. This is for clamping the sander onto a bench or work desk, portable bench, whatever. It's got quite a good bit of travel in there, bit of range. I'll measure that in a moment to see. You get a dust extraction pipe. I don't use dust extraction. I do most of my kind of sanding stuff outside at the moment, so I won't be needing that, but it's good to have if you have a dust extractor. And there's an Allen key in here as well. The unit itself, and there's some sanding pads in here. Let's have a little look at the pads. Right, we've got 240, two 240s, 2 150s and 2 80s. So rough, medium and fine coarse sandpapers. 6 discs in total, Velcro discs. So in case anybody's wondering, I've extended out the clamp to as far as it will go. I'm just going to measure how much you've got to work with here. It's about 7 centimeters, so 70mm. So if your desk is any chunkier or thicker than that, this clamp isn't going to work. Then again, I think part of this clamp actually fits into the machine, so you might lose a bit, so I'll check that out in a moment. So with this unit, you can clamp this up in 2 ways. You can clamp it flat on to the desk, so imagine your desk is underneath, or you can stand it upright and clamp it that way. So let's just have a little look how much you lose in terms of thickness here. Yeah, so you've got about 6.5 centimeters there. So that's the kind of maximum depth that your desk can be for this to work. But it's really good that you can mount it in both directions, horizontally and vertically. So let's just have a close-up look at this unit. You've got the on and off switch here. It's got a little cover on it to stop dust and bits getting in there. Nice click button. And it's got an adjustable speed on it from 1 up to 6, so you can start off slow and work your way up. So on the front here you've got the disc mount, and we'll add a disc in a moment to that. You've got a miter gauge, like a table here with a miter gauge. You can take that out and we can adjust this table and make sure that it's 90 degrees before we start, and I'll install a pad in here. So far seems pretty good. It's not too heavy, quite lightweight and portable, and doesn't take up much room at all. So now to add a pad, I'm going to use an 80 grit to start with. We just take the Allen key, and we can, there's a bolt under here, so this just holds the whole table on. So we can just undo this bolt. And then the table slides away. Then we can add our pad on. That's about right. Now we can just put the table back. So now all we need to do is to make sure that the table is square. So to square up the table, I'm just going to take the engineering square, and I'm just going to lift the table until I'm happy with where it needs to be. That's about right. And there's a knob on each side. Just turn these tight. Looks good to me. So now you can use the flat table to get a nice right angle, nice and square, and sand that way. And you can also use the little mitre gauge. So you can imagine if you had, say you was making a picture frame and you had some 45-degree angles that you wanted to sand, you could just set this to 45. Two different ways, but you get the idea. And then you can sand at a nice angle on here, and you can sort of move all this into the position that you want it in, slide it where you want it, and then lock everything up. So now it was time to give it a test. So I'm going to start off by clamping it to my portable workbench. This would clamp nice and easily to pretty much any workbench, I think, and the clamp feels strong and secure. And you can also clamp it up in the vertical position too if you like. Now I'm just going to demonstrate on full volume the 6 speed settings. So I've got these a seat back and a seat base made out of plywood, rough plywood that I've laminated together. So I need to smooth over the edges, so I'm going to use this as a test. As far as the sound goes, I would say in my opinion that it's quite a quiet machine. It's not very loud at all. Low powered and quiet for a sander. The noise definitely isn't a problem. So I just tested the lower settings first and made sure not to apply too much pressure because it is a low powered machine.
So then to finish off these pieces, I went to the maximum setting once I was comfortable with using it, and it worked really well at this setting, removing material, and it didn't remove too much material. I've got the 80 grit pad in here, so if you was doing some finer work with the 240 grit, I think it'd be excellent too. And the finish was decent for reclaimed scrap wood. I was happy with it, and it was easy enough to clean with a brush and get the sawdust off.
So that is about it for this video. I like this disc sander. It's small, portable, lightweight. You can see it's really lightweight, really small. I can just put this on a shelf and forget about it. It's great for sort of a hobbyist or a DIYer, weekend DIY kind of guy like myself. There are bigger ones on the market, but they cost quite a bit more money. This one is really cheap. If you are lucky enough to find one of these in Lidl when you're out shopping, would I recommend one? So far so good, yes I would. I was pleased with the performance of it. Just as long as you don't push too hard, don't put any pressure really on the pad, it will do just fine. It struggles a bit under pressure because it's quite low powered, so you've just got to bear that in mind. But I think it's a great little bit of kit, and I'll be using this a lot. So if you found this video useful, please remember to like and also consider subscribing for more DIY related videos. And as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.